It's really that time.
It is really that time.
Hello, World Wide Web. My name is Jonathan McHugh, a.k.a. MCQ, and that is...
Tamara Conniff, a.k.a. T-Star.
And we were just talking about that we've known each other for a number of years.
Since the beginning of time.
I don't know about that. I'm not going that far at the beginning of time.
Pretty long.
I am going that we've been around this business for a long time.
Yeah. We've known each other for at least, I want to say, over 10 years.
I'm going with that one, yeah.
Yeah, over 10 years.
And through many incarnations, Tamara was the editor of Billboard magazine. And
you knew me when I was the music editor at The Hollywood Reporter.
Correct.
That's how far back we go.
Wow.
I was a beat reporter for The Hollywood Reporter and covering, obviously, the music business. And you would try
to beat stories out of me.
Yes,
that's why they called you.
I was trying to get you to be my source, and you were at Jive Records.
Oh, because it was the Britney and the NSYNC. And everybody would call me like, so what's Britney have for breakfast today? Can you talk about it? I was like, no, I can't talk about it.
I asked you about the next single and about, money.
Right.
And the movie, you did the Britney movie.
Right, I co-produced the Britney movie. That was my first production ever.
That's right.
And I've made a specialty out of producing music-based movies and TV shows. And now, what do we have? We have our own internet show talking about, it's called The Weekly Comet, for anybody that's not clear. And we're going to be kind of focusing on the world of entertainment, specializing on music, but films, video games, TV shows.
News that we pull from my site, thecomet.com.
Right, so how long have you had thecomet.com for?
I started the company a year ago, and we've been live to the world for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And all your news, 24/7.
Comet.com, check it out. But right now, we are on the stream.tv, and the Weekly Comet will roll. So anyway, so
what was your week like?
It was busy.
Yeah,
we had a very busy week. We try to see a lot of music. We like music, and we work in music. I actually work for Island Def Jam Records, so I go see some music. One of our star clients, Rihanna, sold out the Staples Center the other night. Unfortunately, CeeLo decided he wasn't going to play anymore. And he just dropped off the tour.
He dropped off the tour.
And I was excited to see him because the last time I saw he was too busy, obviously.
Oh,
he's on a sold-out tour, I guess. But last time I went to see him at Coachella, he showed up a half hour late.
Oh, I remember. And he was pissed, right?
And he showed up and said, how could they give me this set time?
That.
And everybody booed him ferociously. And so he did a terrible 20-minute set and left the stage in disgust, as did the crowd. So I was thinking, all right, it'll be a make good. He'll play, and he cancels with Rihanna.
Wow, that's not good.
CeeLo, not on the top of my list right now, buddy.
No, CeeLo, that's not good. You got to treat your fans right.
Another great show this week, Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi sold out 2 shows at the Nokia Theater. 12,000 tickets, a little rap meets rock, and that was strong. And then I also took my daughter to see Airborne Toxic Event, another band who's great. Did a acoustic performance with a little bit of Q&A, and that was right across the street from Kid Cudi, so that worked out. And there we go. What do you get? Look what we got. There's Airborne Toxic playing live at the Grammy Museum. Terrible shot from my cell phone camera, but
fantastic.
What are you going to do? Someday we'll actually have a budget for cameras when the show goes big. And that's some of my stuff, and then we'll talk about some more. What about you? What did you do this week?
Well, you know what I did this week? The Comet, actually, we put on a very small private show at Henson Studios, and Henson Studios is the old Charlie Chaplin Studios in Hollywood, which then turned into A&M Studios, and is now.
I worked there. It was awesome.
That's right. And
so awesome.
And it is now Henson Studios, the home of the Muppets,
and the home of Randy Jackson. You guys ever see the show called American Idol? He showed up?
Yeah, of course he did.
Wow, that's big. If you can get Randy Jackson to show up.
Randy's a friend, and he was actually in the building. I was like, hey, Randy, come on in, and we hung out for a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, we were...
quick trivia on Randy. His office on the lot is my old office. So I walked in the other day not knowing to see him, and I was like, wait a second, dude, this is my office from 15 years ago.
Wow.
It's kind of cool how that was.
Randy.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So we showcased an artist named Nika Costa, who is truly amazing. She's a protege of Prince. She's worked with Mark Ronson. She blew out the house. It was truly an amazing show. Yeah, Randy Jackson came by, and Don Was, who's also a big producer, who's right now in the studio with John Mayer. He also blew in, and it's just like a really, really great vibe.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think we're big enough to get a guy like Randy Jackson to show up on this show right here, the Weekly Comet?
I think we are. Because we are like Wonder Twin Powers Activate.
Right.
Right? Like if we both go at it, Randy will be sitting right there.
And he'll say, "What's up, dog?" That'd be awesome. We have some guests coming up, by the way, so stay tuned. It's not just us yammering. We got some serious players as guests. We have the music of Jim Hanft and his lovely friend Samantha. We also have a producer named Ruwanga Samath, all the way from Sri Lanka by way of Bel Air. So we're going to bring out our friend Gary Calamar.
Come on, Gary, come join us. Have a seat.
Bring it, Gary.
Bring it on.
Hello, I'm Gary Calamar. I work at KCRW. I'm a DJ over there, and I'm also a music supervisor working on the smash hit shows True Blood, Dexter, House. I'm thrilled to be in one of my favorite places in the world.
And that. Favorite place in the world.
Right here.
Is here.
At the Weekly Comet.
That's right. Live from Hollywood.
And to be your very first guest.
You are
I'm
our
so
very
honored.
first guest.
Dude,
That's unbelievable.
And
You guys
we're, you
are
know-
getting off to a great start.
Oh, thank you.
You're hilarious. Are they hilarious and informative?
That's us. Don't mess up the furniture,
I
kid.
already did.
So, big week for you. You got a
Yes.
little show called True Blood.
Huge ratings, huge debut.
It's a big show. The kids love the
My mom
vampires.
watches
Hey, how did those vampires get so popular? What happened?
Well, you know, the one great thing about the HBO show versus, say, like the Twilights is, you know, we're allowed to have, you know, we have a lot of sex on the
Sex.
show, a lot of
Sucky, sucky.
violence,
It's really
all
like
those guys with the bodies
men.
and the men, the women. And the people tend to go for that. So we, you know, we have a fair amount of sex, and it's a great story. Alan Ball, who I worked with back in the day on 6 Feet
Oh
Under,
my God, that's right.
is the creator of the show, and he keeps it very interesting. And, you know, we have a little fun with the music as well, which has been phenomenal. Each show is named after one of the songs in the show. You may or may not know, that, but
Yes, I
that is a fact. So anyway, I got the first script from the screenwriter, Alex Wu, and it was called She's Not There. One of my favorite old songs from the Zombies.
Oh my God, yeah,
You
it's
know,
incredible.
I won't sing it for clearance reasons,
Exactly.
but
We can get sued.
I'm
We
tempted
don't
to
want
do
that. Brian
a
does
little
not
version
want
of
that.
it.
We cannot sing it.
So anyway, so he had in the script the Santana version of the song that would be the end credits.
Right.
You know, which was kind of a nice version of the song. But I said, hey, you know, we got some time. We, you know, why don't we brainstorm and get a new version of the song together? And you know, it would be our exclusive song, you know, which would be nice for our soundtrack. So Alan Ball gave me his blessing and said, you know, let's see what you can come up with. And we went through a lot of different ideas. At one point, we had Florence and the Machine was going to do a version
Right.
for us. We had Dr. John. We had the Kills. For various reasons, you know, we couldn't get that together. And then I had a little magic happen in my office. Would you like me to tell you
And
about
the
that?
magic was?
The magic,
No,
well,
the
you know
suspense is killing me.
that new Cars CD. They just had a big,
Yes.
the big comeback for the Cars.
Again, this time with like
I
the
think
original.
this was their first,
This
yeah,
is the
right,
original
with Rick
Todd
Ocasek.
Rundgren,
So,
right?
right, this is with the man, Rick Ocasek. So I got the CD, yeah, pretty good. You know, they were great in their day. I wasn't that excited about the new Cars CD, but I'm filing it away. And I hear a little voice coming from one of my CDs, right next to the Cars.
Your CDs
Nico Case.
talk to you, don't
That's
they?
what I do. Sometimes
You are alphabetical.
I'm alphabetical.
Oh my
I use the
God.
old tried and true alphabetical
Wow, and
system.
your CDs talk to you.
And
this is amazing.
well, I do. When I'm stuck on an idea, sometimes, you know, you got to be creative. Sometimes you're stuck. Sometimes I would just go up to my CD wall and just go.
Bring it. Something. The force.
So the Nico,
Something fly
so the
out
Nico
to me.
Case CD practically jumped into my hand and said, "I'm perfect for True Blood. Why don't you give me a call?" And I said,
And then Nick Cave is in
and
the
then
same.
I said, let me continue down the aisle. Next thing I see, Johnny Cash. He would be great. Oh,
Oh, he's dead.
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 Johnny, we can't
He's
use.
dead. You
Next
went
come up on
alphabetical.
Nick Cave. You know, made some calls, and miraculously,
And Gerard,
they
answer
were
the
both-
phone.
they
Hello,
were
how
both-
you doing?
they
Come
were
on
both
down.
I
interested.
understand you better now.
Yeah, and we had a great guy, this guy CeCe Adcock, this great
yeah.
musician
Mr.
and
Swamp,
producer
Mr. Swamp,
from
Louisiana.
Louisiana. He
Unbelievable.
came up with a great arrangement, and he produced the track. Nico did her part in Seattle, in a little studio in Seattle. Nick Cave happened to be in Los Angeles with his kids, going to Disneyland and Universal. And
By the way, that's a scary thought. Nick Cave.
That is a
I
scary
can't
thought.
even. Wow.
Nick Cave, is
What a
actually Nick Cave
sunblock.
might be moving here, so you know
And,
you might see more of him at Disneyland coming
Well,
up.
he was very, very dapper.
Sure.
Very
That's
dapper
wrong.
guy.
I kid you
Even
not.
at 9:30 in the morning in a Silver Lake studio, he was dressed to the nines
Of
and a
course.
total gentleman. He did his part great, but we needed him to come back. He came back. And yeah, it premiered on the show on Sunday. I think and then we had it available on iTunes right after the show.
And?
I think we're up to 2,600 sales for that song.
Nice. What is your process to find music? I know you joke about the alphabetical nature of it, but I mean, how do you
No,
shut
serious.
Do you shut everything down? Do you reach out to people? Where do you find musical
I will
inspiration?
sometimes reach out to people. You know, I do also, as you mentioned, I work at KCRW.
Right.
So I listen to a lot of music.
lot.
I get a lot of music pitched to me all the time. So I have a certain library in my head of what I like, and you know, as things come in, I'll say, oh, that might be great for True Blood, or that might be great for House, or whatever it happens to be. And then, yeah, we just go through the process. We get the script, we get a rough cut. You know, we have a spotting session, and we'll go in. I'll talk to Alan Ball and the writers of the show, and kind of give me an idea of what they're thinking for the scene. And then I'll just go back and brainstorm, come back with 3 or 4 songs cut in to play for them, and then they'll hopefully say, Gary, you're brilliant. You've done it again.
I love Beck.
Beck?
And I know that you had worked with him on True Blood, and you were giving me like a little hint last time we talked that he might be involved in this season.
Well,
maybe?
he actually was very involved last season, and he could be involved this season. Last season, again, part of the fun, if you have the opportunity, is to create new songs for the show.
Right.
You know, business-wise, like for the soundtrack, I mean, that's what's going to sell a soundtrack, having a new exclusive song. You know, anybody can get any song on iTunes, but if it's exclusive to our soundtrack,
iTunes is your personal soundtrack.
yes. So, so yeah, Beck, you know, was between albums then. I think he's still between albums now, and just working in the studio. And we reached out and we gave him some notes of what we were looking for, and he was perfect because he gave us like a demo, and we said, yeah, we like this, but maybe you can tweak it that way. We just got him at the right time, and he was a fan of the show, and he wrote a great song for us. That was actually the opening title of the first episode last season.
Right.
It was called Bad Blood.
Nice.
Lucinda Williams wrote us a song last season that was Grammy nominated. So, so yeah, it's great to be able to mix these new recordings with, you know, some of the old classics that we use in the show.
I want to see, Brittany, do we have any questions for Gary?
Brittany, I'm sure it's blowing up over there.
You are. You've got a lot of questions.
What's going on?
They want to know, Vince, kind of more about your creative process, and then also if you've used a song before that you didn't really like, or if you really wanted to use a song and you weren't able to for whatever reason.
Yeah, you know, there are heartbreaks all the time as far as, you know, I get a special joy out of using a song that I personally love, that I sort of feel like I discovered or played on the radio. And sometimes I will come in with the song that I think works perfectly, and I'll say, check it out, guys.
Shut down.
And then they'll say, you know,
not so much.
what else you got? So
that is one of the worst feelings, actually, because you get pumped up and you're like, this is it, it's going to go, and they're like, yeah, next.
Yes, and you know, sometimes, you know, I don't want the secrets to get out, but sometimes I'll put in like some mediocre songs to make like my other song look better. Or sometimes I'll put it, you know, I don't know if I should put it like the first song that I'm going to preview or the third song. It's, you know, there's a lot of double second guessing. Yeah.
Dexter, one of my favorite shows. Can you tell, you don't use that much music in there, right?
Yeah, we have our first meeting for the 6th season of Dexter next week. And yeah, a lot of that music, we have a new soundtrack coming out, but most of it is kind of Latin, Cuban, instrumental type stuff that we use as transitional music. We have some, you know, Latin dance music when they're in the clubs. We have an amazing composer, Daniel Licht, who does the majority.
And we can't talk about him because I want him to come on the show to tell me some secrets.
Well, he's great. You should definitely have him on the show.
He has some
but
secrets
Dexter, in a
about
way,
how
for me, is kind of an easier job in that they just don't license that much music for the show. They don't have as big a budget.
So basically, your music supervisor, Open Road on KCRW Sunday nights.
Although it's not called the Open Road anymore.
What's it called?
It's called the Gary Calamar Show.
Oh, check you out. Okay.
Well, not that I chose that, but KCRW at a certain point said, why do we need 24 different names of shows? Let's brand KCRW. We'll keep more and becomes eclectic.
This guy's a brand right here. Look at him.
He is definitely check out.
But I love the name The Open Road, so sometimes I will say the show formerly known as The Open Road, just to give him a little dig.
Yeah, so check him out Sunday night. Watch his shows.
Listen, Oh,
listen,
yeah, watch, listen.
You can do the internet.
Mr. Sunday Night, they call me.
Mr.
Do it all.
Him and Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
That was Mr. Saturday, right?
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Well, look, I can't thank you enough for
Hey,
coming
good
on.
luck
so
with the
much
show.
for
Thank
coming
you so
on.
much.
Thank you.
The Weekly Comet.
Yay.
It's going to be something.
The big independent music scene out of New York City.
Yeah, huge right now.
So we have a young fella named Eric Weiner who has a site called Wild Honey Pie, and each week he's going to give us a tip. And this week, since it's 4th of July, he has a 4th of July tip. You know, it's all about getting exercise. My favorite sport is tennis. What do you know? He's got a band that he wants to talk about. So let's cut to the Wild Honey Pie clip.
Coconut Grove is a very small grove separated.
Hello out there, Internet. My name is Eric Weiner. I am here to tell you about a new band you should check out right now. Their name is Tennis. They're from Colorado. They're awesome. And guess what? It's 4th of July this weekend, and this band is perfect to bring on the boat, or to the beach, or wherever the hell you're going to be for 4th of July, celebrating, drinking any sort of beverage. Tennis is Elena Moore, Patrick Riley, and James Barone. Now, Elena and Patrick are married. They wrote Cape Dory, their debut album. They wrote that while they were sailing on a boat for 7 months. So the music exudes that. It tells you their story along their sailing trips. And it's really nice, and it's perfect for this time of year. Absolutely perfect. Now, a year ago, when they were in New York City to play for the first time, we took to the streets of Brooklyn and had them do some performances. So check those out right here.
Sultry in the summer heat, I know with you we can't be beat. Take me somewhere. Take me somewhere. Why don't you take me somewhere? Why don't you take me somewhere?
Thank you for watching. Make sure check out Tennis's tour dates. You can like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, buy their album on iTunes, whatever you want. Awesome band, awesome everything really. Check it out. Have a great weekend. See you soon.
In the sand, waiting for you.
Right there.
He's awesome.
That's my
we
Wiener.
love him.
So we'll hear from the Wiener every
That's
week.
a little weird when you say it like that.
Oh, right. I didn't want to go there. But yeah, we'll get the make sure New York's in the mix. And so you know what? We're just going to go right to another guest because we got lots of people that want to come on and be with us.
We have a lot of people who just want to share space with us.
Right. So the next gentleman that we're going to share some space with, is a gentleman named Ruwanga Samath, and he hails from the former British colony. Called Sri Lanka.
Via Bel Air, as you noted
Yeah,
before.
via Bel Air. And he's a hotshot young producer, also is in a band that we'll hear from in a couple weeks called
right.
Mind the Gap.
Great band.
And you had him on your big show today, so
Yeah.
why don't you we'll introduce him. Actually, you know what? Why don't we introduce him with the clip. He did the end title song from the movie Fast Furious 5, which has made, I don't know, over $500 million, maybe $600 million around the globe, and still counting. Be out on DVD on, let's see,
Soon.
October 4. DVD October 4. And we're going to start with his song he did with the legendary Busta Rhymes. We're going to play a minute of this. So hit it, Schoontag.
When I'm in that Jaguar, dipping away from Nassau, red line in the dashboard, exhaust blowing fire like a rocket out the blast off. That's how we roll. We roll like this. That's how we roll. We roll like this.
Nice.
They blow some shit up in that movie,
love
don't
things
they?
that blow up.
I love it.
Love that.
That must have been a thrill to get to do the end title song. How do you feel in the theater watching this for the first time, seeing your song that you produced up against picture?
Oh, it was amazing. I've heard that song so many times by that time, so I wasn't excited to not hear the song as much as see my name, but it was amazing. I had a great time.
Right. Well, you've done a bunch of movies and TV shows, but that's it's a big one.
Oh, that was definitely a home run.
You also worked on the Morgan Spurlock movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I just got the soundtrack and I look in the back and I only saw one name and guess who
Who's
it
that?
was? I
That's
think
your
that
name?
was my name. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I
Wow,
recognize
see,
this
your name is everywhere, man.
At least temporary, yeah.
That's good. And how are you juggling the producing aspect, being in a band and traveling with a band? How are you enjoying that experience at this point?
I would say, at the end of the day, I like producing more. It's just that when I jam with the band, that's all I want to do.
Right.
All I want to do is just
People
keep
say
jamming,
that.
keep
Keith Richards
jamming.
once said, at 24 hours a day, the 2 hours that I'm on stage, that's all I care about. And so it's interesting to hear that.
And yeah, I like producing more, but it gives you like a brand new perspective when you're on stage.
Right.
It's like when you hear when you hear some of the hip hop records in the car, you're just like, oh, this is so stupid. This is like da da da. But when you hear it in the club, you're like, oh, it's just something like that. When you play, you kind of get it. So I see what some people did. Love it.
You also have your own company on top
The
of it.
Bird Call, yeah, and it's finally picking up steam after 8 years.
Right.
So you went right out of high school into the music, right?
Graduated when I was 17, started when I was 18, and 26 now. Feel like older.
Interesting, Ru and I have these conversations. He grew up in Sri Lanka, which at the time when he was growing up was fraught with civil war. And suicide bombers were a high currency. And, Ru's told me some intense stories about people getting killed in front of him, and that, he should have been in that spot, but for fate, he wasn't. So talk about your perspective. People complain and whine about life, and I love your perspective because you grew up in a place that was so ravaged, and people died that and talk about that impression growing up and how it makes you hungrier to succeed in this business.
I think in Los Angeles, I don't see how anybody could have a bad day, honestly, because you wake up and you got the beautiful weather. You're not threatened to die. Nobody's gonna get killed unless you're on the 405 or something. But
They're
it's
calling it Carmageddon.
right. It's just in LA. There's so many opportunities. I think being an immigrant, moving here when I was 12, you could see all the opportunities, and it's right in front of you, and I love it over here. So
Well, you're definitely going to get it, and I think we'll be hearing a lot more about you and Bird Call.
What's the chat room saying, Brittany?
Daisy Flower actually had a really good question. Ru, what else do you produce? Who else have you worked on that we maybe would have heard of?
I do Mind the Gap, which is a band, hopefully will be here soon, which is a singer-songwriter type of music. And, I've done Bust Rhymes, and I literally do from like gangster, dirty, down, raw, hip-hop records to like pretty singer-songwriter records. So, and I did a record with Kesha. So I pretty much cover everything.
Right? You did a record for
Flowrider, yeah.
And you did Saw 4.
I did something for Saw 4 with my old band, and I've done remixes for like Britney, Beyonce, and people like that. So pretty much cover everything. But I gotta say I love hip hop. I love hip hop.
He's a soldier of hip
Don't
hop,
make me
as they
rap
say.
again.
No. Yeah, shut it down. We gotta shut that down because if she starts rapping, because we started late tonight, she started entertaining
no
people.
rapping.
But speaking of music, we got some amazing music coming up. But let's say goodbye to Ru. Thank you so much for coming out, kid.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, great heavens, no. Oh, great heavens, no. Don't let me ride in tonight. Light the lantern low. Light the lantern low. Don't let me ride in tonight. And the ghosts are calling out my name. And we toast with the red wine in my veins. Put out that forest fire. Put out that forest fire. Don't let me ride in tonight. Choke the cheap desire. Choke the cheap desire. Don't let me ride in tonight. And the ghosts are calling out my name. And we toast the red wine in my veins. Strike the kerosene, strike the kerosene. Don't let me ride in tonight. Oh, please, Norma Jean. Oh, please, Norma Jean. Don't let me ride in tonight.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all of our guests tonight. Thank you to Gary. Thank you to Rue. Thank you for everybody online who came and checked us out. We are here every week. In the interim, go to thecomet.com for your latest news.
Yeah, they got news. They got news
They
and
got
information.
news.
And
I
they
got
got
news and
blogs for me.
information.
You know, when I
And
go
the
out and do
blogs,
things,
so
sometimes I'll actually...
You miss us.
I'll talk about
That's
it.
where you go.
Brittany, any last closing comments from your people?
People want to see more live music. I think they really liked that.
All right, so that's a date. Every
Okay.
week, we will have live music here.
Every week.
We may not have any guests, but we will have somebody come play something for you.
We promise.
Even if it's a guy with spoons. With spoons, it can be awesome.
We promise we will have live music here every week. And thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you next Thursday.
Love and kisses.